and right, making sure that there is absolutely zero room for error in this one. But Eve Carlito is going to be the one kicking it off, and he's starting with the one ground attack that we were talking about coming in with a nice high percentage, and that is the Super Pekka Smash. The Warden to lead the pathing, and we often see this because he does have great range, is able to reach over the walls, pick off some additional structures, as you can see here, able to get to the Eagle. But we've got a nice easy passage coming in, and he's getting beautiful chain value and assist coming in from the Electro Owl to actually help speed this up quite a bit more. This is also going to easily pull back around into his main pack of troops, which is nice, where you often worry about your queen veering off in the wrong direction.
Absolutely, and they're using that baby dragon just to create the funnel for these Pekkas and the Ice Golem. Then the Ice Golem looking to try and tank some of this damage, but it's going to go into that northern compartment to deal with that Inferno Tower. Just going to freeze it for the time being, just hoping to delay as much as possible with a few of those loons. Also giving a helping hand, and you can see the Ice Golem there coming in from that eastern side as well, just to make sure to create a better funnel going forward. But so far so good. A Blimps coming into the northern side, looking to go towards that town hall, but still the bulk of his attack just trying to do the best it can to push it at bay, but not really too much working out here. We'll find a couple of Teslas along the way. The Warden will deal with that momentarily, but we'll find a couple of traps which go towards these healers. But even then, that's been very, very tough. Just at the same time, just keeping an eye on that town hall to make sure it does get taken down, which it does, and it's been successful so far. But look at this, they've still got to deal with that opponent on the left side, which could be fine. The AD may take out the healers, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about that because the blimp landed in just a little bit further away from where he wanted it to go. King has done phenomenal work along with the Royal Champion. Those wall breaks opening in and out of the 3 o'clock compartment was huge for this to help take care of the cleanup. I mean, we saw everything pretty much fizzle out as it made it through the back end, though we do have one Pekka live, but we have the Queen, her ability, we have the Royal Champ just launching off that Seeking Shield, which is huge. This is why a lot of times you want to keep those hero abilities as long as possible, and providing that you can get the right pathing in, allow the healers to switch over to the Pekkas, to the Super Wizards, keep the Queen behind, you can reserve that ability. This is absolutely stunning, and a great way for Elevate to start off this war.
Yeah, that was smooth. I think the best word to call it. Very smooth from Remy over there. Just using the invisibility spell just to make sure that Town Hall is a guarantee. Nicely done with the blimp as well, cleaning the path. I think a lot of the healers actually soaked up a lot of those traps along the way. Anyway, the AD did, a great job just trying to do its best to take out those healers. Some of them were very, very low on health, but even if, they were taken out anyway, that Pekka would have just flown through onto the western side. That would have been perfectly fine. But apart from that, though, that was a fantastic attack. We were talking about the Super Pekka Smash. It's been given a lot of love over the course of this last few play days, especially last week. Was one of the top 6 weekly attacks there, as we mentioned earlier on in the pre-show. But now with Sinfei, we're going to see what he's going to come up with here, as looking to try and attack Carlito's base to see if he can bag himself a 3-star as well for MCES.
I love watching Synthé attack because we never know exactly what we're going to get to see from him. Is it going to be Hogs? Is it going to be Dragons? Is it going to be Zapquake Lalo? Well, guess what? It's going to be the Skelly Donut Zapquake Lalo coming in straight to the core with the invisibility spells to help the Skellys from the Skelly Trap eliminate the Clan Castle troops. This is stunning. This is great. This is something that we see him often do. And you always have to hold your breath to make sure that he gets the timing right, that he gets the placement right on everything to get that full value. Otherwise, it's a big risk of investment. Now, he also manages to take down the scatter shot as well, which is leaving him with an exterior one that's an easy push for the Royal Champ to come in, sneak through, take it on. If she can get past these Skellys, launches that Seeking Shield, and it is just enough from the hits that she initially got on before the Skellys popped up.
Yeah, the Skellys have actually done a huge amount of work there, just keeping the RC at bay, but he might actually still take down the Expo. No, he does not, but we'll see how much of a detriment it's going to be later on, as it will be able to inflict additional damage. Those Skellys, if they weren't there, definitely would have taken out that Expo with ease, and then maybe push on across to take something else out. But it doesn't matter, he's still got a fair amount of value anyway, and you can see some of those loons coming in from the 8 o'clock side, the Stone Slammer as well, and the bulk of it, of course, coming in from the 11 o'clock side as we're looking to push towards that Inferno Tower. Still got to deal with the AD and the Eagle Artillery on the northern side as well. So this is a fantastic flank from Synthé so far, looking to push in towards the north side just to take up that Eagle artillery in that northern compartment. But so far you can see the Rocket Leaves as well, just making sure to take out any more of the defenses on that western side as well. But this has been fantastic from Synthwave. Still got plenty of time left as well. That was a very aggressive attack and really well executed.
And no spells needed on this, because remember, he invested all that spell value on the initial funneling for this pathing for the Lalo, taking down some big value. We've got scatter shots down, you know, and oh my goodness, he is sending in a swag parade of loons. But think about this. Think about the value that he got with that opener, really seeing the weaknesses in that base where he could take advantage of it just using those spells, connecting the heroes along, obviously taking down those scatter shots, taking down CC troops, not only impacts, you know, what kind of value you're going to get for your pathing with your Lalo, but it also relates very much so to how much value you can get out of your heroes with that as well, ensuring that they can make the push coming in if there's a lot of surrounding defenses. And these days in the current meta, we are seeing a lot of ground bows, particularly surrounding bases, trying to keep your heroes from getting as much value as possible. So if you can eliminate some of those other additional factors, it's huge for you. And that means you can, I wouldn't recommend it all the time, but you can use those spells instead for the Lalo for this opening value, which he really smartly did. But Kala coming in now, we've got some drag bat action. And I know this is one of my favorites. I don't know about for you, but it's been amazing to see how incredible not only that these high hit point dragons are doing, but the value the bats can pick up along with it for the cleanup on the back end.
I think I've seen a lot more of the drag bat composition in NA actually rather than EU. We've seen it sometimes in EU, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's been used a lot more in the North American scene. So it's nice to see a little bit more of it in EU as well, because I do feel like it is hiding in the shadows a little bit. Kind of the same as with the Inferno Dragon kind of composition, that also hides in the shadow sometimes. And now the Queen now coming in from that 10 o'clock side, just pushing into that compartment to take down that scanner shot, and still got the Archer Tower to deal with as well straight after, as well as the Wizard Tower behind it. But look at the northern side so far. The RC has come out. It's got a lot to deal with here. Needs to use an invisibility spell just to keep it alive, but also keep the Skellys away to push towards the Queen instead. But now looking to push in forward in that northern compartment to take down that scatter shot as well. Still got a little bit more work to do, but it looks like even if he does want to push on in, that's already done a huge amount already. There's too much there to deal with in terms of DPS to push on forward. But here comes all those drags, all those loons there from the southern side, along with that Warden as well. Going to be taking on that southern compartment, including that Eagle artillery. So looking very good so far. A couple of drags have actually swerved towards that left-hand side, but will be come back in anyway, take out that Wizard Tower. But so far, so good. It's a fair amount of defense left. Still got a few of those Inferno Towers and the Town Hall to deal with. But speaking of the Town Hall, we'll have to deal with that Tornado Trap as the Blimp still got a fair amount of HP here. Just using another spell just to make sure it is successful in being able to make it in. And it does make it in, even though the Sweeper pushes it back ever so slightly. But it's just not going to be enough as the Blimp does successfully make it into the Town Hall compartment.
Yeah, it was unfortunate to see the King not be able to pick up that value, which means the Royal Champ had to come in and compensate, wasn't able to work through with the dragons instead. But you can see how, again, powerful these dragons are. The bats coming through for the cleanup, not a lot of risk on the back end with the splash damage, so they're able to quickly work along, allow the dragons the opportunity to take care of the storage cleanup while the bats pick off these defenses. This multi was a one last risk here, did drop the freeze, and not enough to actually take it down. But let's see if the dragons have time to come through. One more storage to go. They still need to force their way into the center of the base, but there is a huge pack working together along with the warded, so there still is enough time to get this done. And it did look like the multi took some hits already, which is going to help loosen up the damage. Might have taken maybe just like one hit here, but more than enough for these dragons to take it down. And with that, we have Kala coming in with another 3-star for Elevate, which puts them 2 for 2 going up against MCES.
Yeah, another triple. We can't complain there. It's like we've always said, Elevate have a really talented attacking squad, and it is continuing to do absolute work in. Even though the drags are quite slow, they tanked a lot of the damage in that process for the loons to have a bit of leadway. The Blimp had a little bit of troubles with that Tornado Trap and had to use one of those rage spells in order to just help secure that Town Hall. He doesn't want to, I know it's a little bit more expensive, but the main thing is he gets the full value going into that compartment later on. So even though he had to do it, I don't think it was too much. It was of a expensive way to kind of use that. I think that was perfectly fine. And then afterwards, you know, the Drags had plenty of time at the end to take that Inferno Tower down. So brilliant stuff there from him, looking now to go to the next attack. As it's just been triples all day. I'm not really surprised, especially in this region overall, what we're used to. And now we're going to see if Elevate can continue putting on the pressure.
Yeah, it's the defenses is really where we've said that they've had the biggest problem, because we can see the beautiful attacks coming in. You know, if they want to turn this around, if they want to get this going, the defenses are what they need to bring to the table. And that's, you know, something that I consistently say, let's see if they can do it today. So far, Synthé kicking it off didn't do them any favors. And Tryhard coming up to bat next and bringing in the Electro Drags. I'm a little bit surprised to see it, but you know, Electro Drags are strong in the right hands, and you can see all this beautiful chainable value. Look how close these structures are. So he is banking on the fact he can make a quick, speedy push coming in. We're going to see these rages coming down likely very fast early on to get the force inside of the base. Now, the one thing he's going to have to be mindful of this town hall in the center. He needs to make sure that he actually gets the majority of these E-Drags splitting around it and allow the blimp to work through to take on the town hall so he doesn't lose out the E-Drags to the poison bomb.
And you can see as well the Eagle Artillery was actually prioritizing the king in that moment, just trying to create that funnel. But so far, he's going to be quite pleased with how it's actually prioritizing, you know, that rather than the actual E-Drags themselves pushing on forward as the Loons make it into the center, even though the sweep has been a little bit of a pain in the backside, but not doing a huge deal here. You see those Expos will get taken down momentarily. It's still quite a slow push. The Eagle Artillery is still alive. You've got to remember though, the AD is still there as well, and you need that RC soon enough to take out the rest of his defense. But the Queen, you can see on that 10 o'clock side, now pushing on through, but it doesn't matter. The RC is already on the front line to make sure it can clean up a little bit more, but you can already see the damage has already been done. There's only so much it can do here, and still got plenty of time left on the clock though, remember.
He's got the invisibility spell, and it looks like he's holding off for the Queen. Getting that scatter shot down was a big, big move and very much needed in order to ensure the Queen has more opportunity. I'm surprised he didn't try and keep his Royal Champion going longer, because if you're running any risk of time, it's better to have more power coming through. He just figures that using his Queen, with everything that sectioned off the way it is going to help out quite a bit. And mind you, we do have a minion helping to take care of the cleanup on the outside edge, but it's up to that minion and this Queen alone to get it done. 50 seconds left, and she is in a perfect spot where there's an opening in the wall. Invisibility spell coming down, keeping her alive in this one through the last remaining defenses, and this gives Tryhard everything he needs. So his patience and his, his thought process on holding this invisibility spell for the Queen was actually spot on, has paid off, and has allowed him to pick up the 3-star. Again, like these E-Drags you have to worry about fizzling out very quickly. He played his cards pretty much right here, but a little bit close. And for anybody who's using E-Drags at home, you have to remember, like, if it comes down to this, you have to think what's going to be the best value out of your heroes, which Tryhard definitely did do well.
He definitely did indeed. Even RC was actually taking a bulk of the damage on the front line as the funnel was coming in through. And I was a little bit worried about the King, because you saw his funneling on that north left side when the Eagle Artillery was actually prioritizing him the entire time. But he managed to get enough of those structures cleared out to continue with that funnel earlier on. And let's be real here, not really too much to say. Just literally can't separate these two juggernauts going forward. Both have got 2 triples apiece, and so far still looking to get 2 perfect walls as well. But we'll see how time goes, because like I said, both his teams have very, very talented attackers. I'll say as though not everyone in EU have talented attackers. They're all so good in this region overall. But now we're going to find out how we're going to go on into the second half, or the second half of the portion of these attacks. But we're seeing some interesting compositions so far, babe.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen the Queen charge drag rider yet, which is one of those most popular strategies. We saw 52.
Give it time.
We saw 52 of them last week, and we've not seen one yet from the start. But yeah, I know. You know what? Tribe Gaming's going to be playing today. I know we're going to get some from Tribe Gaming. Let's see what Eve Mark has coming in. Looks like it is going to be the usual for him, and that is his superb Queen charge Lalos. Kicking it off, though, with the Sneaky Goblin Blimp to take down the Town Hall, create the funnel here, which is actually a nice spot. It's right on the outside edge, helps to get the Clan Castle lure, and starts off this Queen charge process.
Yeah, Mark going to be quite patient with this attack, but as I say that, the spell comes out straight away, and Queen's going to be pushing all the way forward from that 4 o'clock sign, using that loon as well to see if it can find anything along the way. We'll find one trap, maybe two there. The Queen's just continue to funnel on through to try and take out one of those testers and having to deal with that cannon as well. But the main part is going to be that Inferno Tower in that 3 o'clock compartment. You can see now the King Yak just continuing to help the funnel further, just taking out the structures on that northern side. The Queen continue to do absolute work and sending another loon as well into the exact same compartment. So just dropping a spell here just to speed things up a little bit and just give a little bit of leadway. We'll find a lot of Skellys over time, but that's going to be fine. The main thing is to take out the other Inferno Tower and the AD as well. But the King's just trying to stay alive with the best of his ability. But the main thing is he's taking a lot of those structures, so it's going to help these loons massively along the way. And now we're going to see what he can do with this Queen straight after us. But getting a fair amount of value so far. I found a few of the Teslas along the way. And the Eagle Artillery is now going to be prioritising the King as well. But do you know what? That's going to do a massive favour in terms of value because he was pretty much dead anyway.
Yeah, so I'm looking to see what else he has to keep this Queen charge going along. Now, we've yet to drop the Royal Champion coming in. A couple of key things that we're going to look at is the multi in the center of the base. And he can bring this Royal Champ to help scooch along, work her way in here. But with the Lalo pathing starting, this allows the Queen the opportunity to start forcing her way in, and there's a clear distinction that the loons can follow through in the scattershot pathing, keep working around the outside edge, but he can also use this Warden ability to help get safely through the core of the base here as the Royal Champion comes along, which is going to allow the loons easier passage coming out if there's any possible traps. And when we look at the back end of the base, there's really not a lot of damage to worry about, especially because he's held onto some loons just around the outside edge where we do have the ADs and some of the splash damage to work along. Oh, he does drop the invisibility spell here. I'm looking around to see what he was helping to hold off. It does, I believe, help the Royal Champion a little bit more, and you can see this beautiful push of the loons coming through to the back end defenses, all swarming together. And despite the fact that we have that Wizard Tower, we have some loons sneaking up on the back end to help pick it off.
Yeah, great attack from Mark there overall. I was going to say he seems to be quite patient to begin with, and then after he made those funnels, he was not mucking around at all in the slightest. As earlier on, you see the Eagle Artillery focusing on the King, which barely had any HP, so it gave the Queen a lot more room to breathe in that right compartment to finish off those two Inferno Towers. So brilliant stuff from Mark, well calculated there. The triples continue, and never know, maybe a perfect walk.
Possibly, but I wouldn't want to jinx that too early. Like, I don't want to say anything when we see these triple after triples coming in. You know the pressure is going to get to somebody typically. What we really
Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
What we haven't been able to see yet is the double perfect war. Isn't that true? We saw the one that was 1% away from
that was Elevate.
Double perfect war. Was it Elevate versus RPG? I think it was.
I think so. It was definitely one of the very, very first play days because that's where Elevate had problems in their defense, and then it kind of showed because that's when we said they have the potential because their attacking squad is really good and they've got no reason why they can bring some of these walls back in the future. But yeah, I'll never forget that. The only reason why it wasn't a double perfect because of that 1%, that one. I think it was the one Elixir mine, which was actually the difference maker overall, was a little bit of a shame. But we are going to see Remio now come in for MCES to see if he can get a third triple in a row, starting us off from that 2 o'clock side with the Queen Unicorn Red just pushing towards that cannon and Archer Tower. And you can see from the southern side as well, just not really a huge amount of here, just looking to focus in this right-hand compartment. You can see the King and the Ice Golem coming out on the 4 o'clock side as well.
And he's already eliminated the scatter shot in the center of the base, clearing out this path beautifully so far. Queen, King going to connect where he's already created this nice value coming in. We do have the blimp that we know is going to be likely reserved to work in for the Town Hall compartment. You can just really start seeing how these paths shape up perfectly to limit what the Lalo actually has to contend with. But it is off to a very nice start. And notice that he has one additional lightning spell here, which is going to help if there's any headhunters that come out of the Clan Castle troops, as it's not been pulled yet.
Yeah, got a couple of haste as well, just to speed things up a little bit if required. Going towards that Inferno Tower now. Good way to break through into that compartment. That was beautiful, actually. Got a huge amount of value out of that. And now you can see the next portion for the Queen to turn on an Expo and scatter shot there, but also the AD would be one of the main things as well. Still a couple of ADs left here The Expo just focusing on that Loon, so the Blimp has a little bit more leadway coming on in, not taking out too much damage. It does make it, but just on the outside, as the Loons are coming in from that 9 o'clock side as well. So we're just going to be keeping an eye on that compartment as well. The Town Hall is dwindling down. It will get cleaned up here, and that's where the haste spell will come in as well for these Loons to push on as quick as possible and give these Loons a lot more help in order to sprint through a lot of these compartments. But the Tornado spell has definitely something to do with it here, as already just delaying the inevitable for Remio. Just the Inferno Tower and the Expo left, as well as the Archer Tower on that northeastern side, and that's going to be about it. And I must say, the Queen is actually still alive in that 9 o'clock compartment still after all that. Still has 35 seconds left, and it looks like it's still going to be tied up here, B, and we just can't separate these guys.
Yeah, there was nothing left to the base when he dropped the Lalo, because the Queen and the Royal Champion were still going strong through that. All they did was some outside edge cleanup since the Blimp came in to take on the Town Hall compartment. There were a couple of surrounding defenses that the Loons had to path their way through, but there was virtually nothing left for this Lalo to have to contend with that insane opener. Just the value you would expect to see coming out of Remio, but nonetheless, it is still just jaw-dropping when you can see that much power left in an attack.
Yeah, sorry guys, like, you know, we are doing our best to separate, but we literally can't at this point. And even if we went to time or anything like that, I do feel like MCS's attacks have been a bit quicker, I think, from the top of my head. But do you know what? I'm not even going to try and work that out. I'm just going to leave it to it right at the very end, because we don't even know if it's going to happen yet. But still, though, 6 attacks, 6 triples, still no way of separating both of these Titans coming into this now. So Elevate will be attacking next. So let's see what they're going to get up to in terms of their shenanigans. A few of the Loons coming out from that 3 o'clock side. Let's see if they find anything along the way. Is the Blimp's going to be following behind it, just to help make sure there's no traps and give it a nice, a bit of a brief approach there. But even though it does job, you can see what more it can do. Taking down that Phono Tail will help massively. But even then, though, you can see the Minion and the Wizard on that right-hand side also just clean up some of the structures as well, and the Queen does come out to play.
Yeah, so we were talking about this at out of 52 attacks last week. We had those Queen Charge drag riders that we hadn't seen yet finally coming through, which you assured that we would get to see. And I like the way this is starting off. We have the Queen making her path into the Town Hall compartment. It's already been clearly defined and separated to allow this push coming in, taking on some of the outlying defenses. Because we have that moated section, it almost has this feel that we've done with the we did do the Yeti Blimp to help section this off, which is perfect, because that's exactly what you want to do. You want to limit the damage coming into the Queen, force her through, and pick up even more value. And it gets a lot because we do have these really wide open compartments that you don't have to worry about forcing the Queen through too many walls, too many layers. And it's stunning because we're going to really narrow out the path here now for the drag riders to push through.
Oh, that was beautiful as well. The King just coming in to create that funnel once again for the Queen. Also using the Rage spell as well, just to add extra caution and get a lot more value with the Queen as well. And not too sure if it's even required at that point. It did such a good job, but just needing to speed things up, which is probably the main reason, just so it doesn't get that time fail. But here comes the drag riders. You know, it took 7 attacks, but we finally got to see 1, considering how many we've seen in the past. But look at how much defense there are in the south and center. Of course, you've got Inferno Town in the middle, but still got a bulk of it in that southern side. The Eagle Artillery, the Expos are all getting taken down, and so is the AD. The Warden's going behind it to try and speed things up once again, but not looking too bad so far. I'm just trying to see what's left. It's got 45 seconds left. It's still got the Archer Tower, still got the AD, still got another Inferno Tower there as well. So still got a little bit here to continue with. The Queen, though, still alive. The healer's just trying to do its best to try and stick with the Queen, but the Sweeper just constantly pushing them back. But I don't think there's enough DPS to actually take her down. So these are going to be okay. Once the Sweeper's been cleaned up, the Queen will recover a lot quicker. But at the same time, though, look at down south. These Dragon Riders have pretty much evaporated. And finally, we're not going to get this full 3-star now for Team Elevate.
Yeah, it's not often that you get to see these drag riders just completely get obliterated like this. And the Queen, unfortunately, not enough time to get through, not even enough power with the single targeting Inferno here on that backside. This is going to leave the huge opening now for MCES to come through and try and claim their victory in this matchup, which they're really hoping for. They don't want to lose this early on. They don't want to give any ground to Penta, to Repotted Gaming, with a loss in this matchup and leave even more of a possible opening for Tribe, since they're going to have to face Tribe later today.
Typical. The first time between a Queen Charge Drag Riders, and you know what? It's a fail. Absolutely typical from what we've seen so far. So even though it's a little bit of a shame, we still got 88%. It's not like it's a huge detriment going forward, but it does mean we have to rely on MCES have another failed attack along the way. But we'll see though. We'll see how things pan out towards the very end. And I must say, like, he did a great job keeping that Queen alive in the later stages, but by then it was just way too little too late. We saw down that south side there was a huge amount of defense to deal with. There was at least 2 or 3 exposed to Eagle Artillery and of course that Inferno Tower in the center, and the Dragon Riders couldn't really just push into it as hard as they would like to. It was a nice, you know, methodical but also aggressive approach on that southern side, and he just couldn't seem to do it, sadly. Maybe he was a little bit worried about that time fail, which was also another option there to try and avoid, which is why he took ball out and bulk of that from the southern side as well. But a little bit of a shame, but won't kick himself too much, because you've got to remember MCES also have 2 attacks left, so 2 chances for them to, you know, maybe not be too successful in comparison, as Kingsman's going to be the next attacker here coming to this next matchup. Yeah, just waiting. So just waiting so far. The Queen does come in from the 3 o'clock side, having to continue to delay things, have to deal with those pups, which is a bit of a pain in the backside, but it's not going to worry. It's not going to stop her by any means, but it can always put towards that time fail, as a couple of loos now just coming into that 3 o'clock compartment. See if you can find anything along the way here, as already the Expo just getting a piece of the action now, just trying to delay things as much as possible, still focusing on that Queen, but needs to take out ASAP because she's actually getting out DPS, as you can see, just getting out hill technically as to how the raid spell needed to come in. And this is going to be good stuff from them, as now managed to push into that Town Hall compartment, but now the Hog Rider is coming in from the north side as well. Could be a huge amount here, but the Queen's still trying to take out the Town Hall. It's going to take a little bit of time here and still be able to push through in that 4 o'clock compartment now. But the Queen's still able to stay alive. It's had a little bit of investment coming in with a few of the spells, but nonetheless still able to carry on making this attack. And now, though, the Hog Rider is still pushing on towards that center as well. The only problem for the Queen is that the sweeper just pushing back those healers every single time. So there's a possibility here he could get taken down depending on how much DPS she's going to have to deal with. But so far, so good. Been pretty surprised so far, as now the Inferno Tower still having to keep this Queen back from the southern side. 50 seconds left. The Eagle Artillery is actually still lurking about here, but now the RC actually manages to take it down. Beautiful, beautiful stuff so far. 40 seconds left. Having to take out some of his remaining structures, and I must say the RC has done a huge amount of work on that 7-8 o'clock side. Does take out the southern side as well. Only a little bit to deal with here and there. And there we have it, as Kingsman not going to let MCES down. We'll continue with the triples. One more away from the perfect war, and it looks like it could be done here, V.
Yeah, this is getting mighty close. When MCS is in this position, we typically don't see them backing down quite a bit anymore. And we've had Tryhard, we've had Remio, Synthe, Kingsman, which means we have Arium left to attack here in the final go. I don't know, Arium's been on a roll lately, so I think it's tough to think he won't get the job done. But even if he winds up 2-starring, he needs to hit that 89%, providing that Elevate would come in with a 3-star in their final attack.
Elevate at this point, it's like kind of one of the main stories, really. Every time they're playing against one of these teams, it's like, why do these teams have perfect wars every single time when we're literally getting like 488% overall in terms of their attacks? It's, you know, it must be quite frustrating for them, but it seems like when they go against someone else, like, they don't get perfect wars, or it's like a bit of a struggle, 12, 13 stars, but every single time they're always getting these perfect wars against Elevate, and I'd have to count and go through back all the, you know, VODs and just see exactly how many perfect wars they've had done to them, because it's been at least 3 or 4 so far, and here's another one which is going to be continuing the trend for MCES here. But we'll have to see, as Mudder now from Elevate is going to be the final attacker from Team Elevate. They can still bring this back, as long as they get a 3-star to pile on the pressure, that's going to be fine. The only problem is if they do 3-star this, it means they need to rely on MCES to get at least 87% or lower in order to gain that victory.
So we have the Blizzard coming in to kick this off right there in the center of the base. Gets the Clan Castle lured out, picking up some good value, making great connection around. Not able to get as far as getting that scatter shot down, though that's not the main point of picking this one up. He is able to secure the value right there in the center. And look at this, because if we look at what remains on the board, we do have the 2 scatter shots. One connected close to the Eagle that's right on the outskirts there, Town Hall over on one side. So we can start seeing a defined path for the Loons to actually work their way around. And with the heroes starting up and gearing up, they can make an easy push coming in for the Town Hall compartment. Royal Champ coming in towards that single. She's just out of range, so she can take down the Hound, which is a good spot because that Eagle will start roasting, or I'm sorry, the Inferno will start roasting up very quickly here.
I must say that compartment, the Town Hall compartment you were talking about, that is a beefy compound that needs to be destroyed later on, but they're going to start from that northern side to take up this Inferno Tower, but just trying to find anything along the way here. So you can see the King Yak just helping to create that funnel, just taking out some of the structures on the outer side, but the main thing is that Inferno Tower on the northern side has been taken down. So a couple of the expos here you can see just trying to deal damage onto that King just to try and slow its path as quick as possible. The Queen makes a nice welcome return from the 3 o'clock side. Going to be taking out some more of the defense there in that Town Hall compartment. The King still taking a lot of damage, but using the spell once again. But, oh, I love that plan as well. The awareness there on the King, knowing that the Eagle Artillery was planning to prioritize the King and just popping him his ability just to make sure he can continue that attack. But it's prioritizing the King once again. Still able to stay alive, but not long enough, as now the Queen is continuing to make her way down south with the Lalo attack now coming in from that 2 o'clock side and having to take down the Town Hall. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, but at least it'll be cleaned up.
Oh, this is unfortunate. And I mean, this is also considering that they wanted to try and see if they could find the opening in the end here because it was not over. But at this point, there is no way he can turn back around, having to force those Loons and use the Warden to come in from that part when we still have 2 scatter shots and an Eagle to worry about is detrimental. He is able to at least finish off by picking up the 2-star, saving this raid. I mean, the Queen on the outskirts did no help because the King had to face that full brunt himself, unfortunately, and wasn't able to secure this one. But again, 2 stars, they will be able to finish this off with a reasonable star count. We saw a beautiful performance, all those 3 stars rolling through from the start, 13 stars on the board for them. But MCES obviously with the easy opportunity, save 2-star here, and Ariam can secure the win for MCES, putting them in a pretty fine position in these rankings.
Yeah, 62% 2-star, not how you want to go out, but this means that it doesn't matter about percentile at this point. As long as they 2-star it, they'll be perfectly fine. They're going to be very happy with the performance so far from what they've just seen as well. But you know, they're going to be looking for a bit more than that. But they're going to be looking for that perfect one, elevate having to facepalm every time they get perfect one every single time. Just another one added to their collection. It's not a collection they want, of course, but yeah, a little bit of a shame there. But Muda, you know, is a fantastic attacker. Not really too sure how that went a little bit wrong for him. It's a shame that he had to, you know, the attack on the Town Hall compartment especially became a little bit more expensive, as you rightly pointed out earlier on. But already you can see a very fast approach here from the side of MCES. The blimp coming in towards that Town Hall. You saw a couple of those rocket loons as well. You can see that defensive lava hand there continuing to not do anything at all as of yet due to those spells, but the main bulk of it is to make sure to get that Town Hall down, or at least try and get as much done in that compartment. As you can see, it's going to continue on. Will it be able to get taken down? Yes, it will. So that was successful in the end. As we can see, like I said before, guys, as long as they get 2 stars in this final attack, in this war, MCES will secure that W.
Really nice move there with the Blizzard. Again, you hold your breath like the Sneaky Goblins. Make sure that it gets taken down. And then he can start with the heroes, getting this nice opening into the scattershot compartment. The King going to take the lead, but We do have an additional wall break to force us along a little bit further. And I'm curious if it's going to be to try and get a corner connection, allow the queen access to get closer to the multi-targeting Inferno, because the king can beat his way through the wall. He can even send in the royal champion, but he actually opens up the eagle compartment here and allows the royal champion the opportunity to work into the center so she can pick off this multi and ideally with the invisibility spell go as far as picking up the scatter shot here, and that is going to really navigate the pathing for this Lalo.
Brilliant stuff there, using that king to make sure it's go on the outer edge to clean up those structures, to help the queen funnel into that compartment, taking out everything on the northern side. But here comes the bulk of it from the 10 o'clock side, as now the AD has been trying to do a bit of work, but it won't be doing much as the lava hound just tanking all that damage. And this is great positioning with these loons as well, and the wardens coming in as well towards that northern compartment. Once again, going straight into the center. Great job using these spells to get the loons in very, very early into the center to make sure to not tank as much DPS as the as Muda would like to do on the defensive side. Already you can see a few more loons are trying to take out the AD as well, but with the lava hound still alive, tanking all that damage, he's going to be perfectly fine. He's already got the 2 stars. He's still looking for that perfect wall. It looks like it's going to be, even though there's a tornado trap, that's just going to be pretty much delaying the inevitable, and there's so many units on the map so far. That's going to be perfectly fine. MCES coming into this week with their first perfect wall. They're going to be extremely pleased about that. And Team Elevate are going to be thinking to themselves, like, what more can we do against such a